What should we hit first?
I mean,
Cloud
I think
Plus?
universal control is like the coolest thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we glossed over that.
Oh god, it was so good.
I think a perfect example of how cool that is was I was trying to explain to Claire what got announced at WWDC, and it's clearly not that interesting for non-tech people. And then I showed her a clip of universal control, and she was like, that was actually really cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that was
super
really
cool.
sweet.
All right, so for those of you who don't know or haven't seen, God, all right, picture this. So Craig Federighi sits down, he's got a Mac, and he's got an iPad right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
He sets them up next to each other, and without any other setup, he moves the cursor over to the edge of the Mac, and it just knows that there's an iPad next to it. The iPad wakes up and goes, hey, is there a cursor here? And you just immediately line the two up, and now you're just controlling the iPad with the cursor on the Mac. So it's not Sidecar, where you would be extending your Mac's display onto the iPad.
Yeah.
You're just controlling the iPad UI now with the trackpad and whatever mouse and keyboard you're using on the Mac. So that's cool right away. Just immediately knows where to go, no setup, lines everything up. Great. He brings another Mac in there. He sets them all three up next to each other. So now he's got a mouse and keyboard and three displays, and it just keeps working seamlessly. That is an ecosystem flex right there.
But what the coolest part of that is not just are you controlling everything, you can now, which I'm assuming is almost just using a quicker version of like Air. I guess I'm confused a little bit about how this works, but he was dragging files from one to the other. He was dragging a photo file from the iPad and dropping it in like a PowerPoint on his Mac.
Yes.
Which is wild, but I guess at a certain point with a file size, are you going to start...
Yeah,
what is the difference there?
This is a bunch of different things. This is Bluetooth, first of all, for proximity. So as soon as they know they're next to each other, they're on the same, they can Bluetooth connect to each other. You could already use a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse on the iPad. This is just using your Mac as a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse for your iPad. So that's cool. Then you get to that dragging a file from the iPad to the Mac. That's essentially AirDrop.
That's what I thought.
Which is Wi-Fi. So it's Wi-Fi direct, just going straight from one to the other, transferring the file. So yes, that will still be slower if you have a huge file, but it's an image, so it was fine.
Yeah, they used an image to make it a bit quicker, but I could see that being so useful for people who, if there's like artists who are drawing on their iPad with Apple Pencil, but need to bring it into their like MacBook or iMac or something like that for whatever reason, and that just seems really cool.
Yeah, that's the thing about the iPad is at the very highest end of iPad use, I feel like all of those people have a Mac anyway. So even though I'm always over here like, oh, I want so much more out of this iPad. It's so powerful, but I want a file system. I want to do everything on the iPad. But at the end of the day, this feature makes it pretty obvious to me that it's going to continue to be great to have both an iPad and a Mac, which is music to Apple's ears, of course. But yes, there's a lot of people, even in our own studio, will like finish editing a thumbnail on the iPad. And of course, now we want to put it on YouTube. So what do? We AirDrop that file to the Mac so that we can put it on YouTube. Well, now we're just swiping over.
Do you think you'll have to be logged in as the same iCloud account?
Yes.
Okay. So it does kind of...
In the studio,
AirDrop is still nice, but yeah.
Yeah, in the studio, we will still be AirDropping between different iCloud accounts. But if you happen to have something you want to finish on the Mac, maybe you want to export it in a... Since we have to crush the file size for YouTube, or you want to do something like that, then you would just go to the Mac and then take care of it from there. But nevertheless, very cool demo, really cool feature. It's called Universal Control.
Yeah, I think that was the coolest demo they did of all of WWDC.
100%. That's you know what's funny about these presentations is like, I feel like there's three things that always happen during an Apple pre-recorded presentation. One is they have a super cool tech demo moment.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, that was a really cool feature. Two is they have some kind of Easter egg where whether it's like when he was pointing the camera at the whiteboard, there was all this text on the whiteboard about like the next version of like AirPods and how they test them on dogs and call them Airbuds, I think he said, on the whiteboard.
Completely.
Just little Easter eggs. There's always stuff like that. And three, there's always a memeable moment in every single one of these, whether it's Tim Cook literally ripping his face off, or if it's Craig Federighi in WWDC jumping through the hole in the ground to land in the privacy section under the theater. There's just some moment where they create where they're like, all right, this is the meme one. All right, we're shooting the meme now. Okay, great. Like they always just, they nail it. They just set it up. So yeah, they're consistent with it, but we did get some cool tech demos out of that.